You believe being available is a virtue. You think saying yes to everyone, answering every message, attending every call, proves your worth. You are wrong. Every time you make yourself too accessible, you strip away your power. You hand it over freely, as if abundance is infinite. But in the social game of influence, availability is a currency. And you, my friend, are bankrupting yourself. Machiavelli understood this. He wrote of princes who gave themselves too freely, who bent to the will of everyone around them, who feared the anger of a single courtier more than the erosion of their own authority. They fell, swiftly, painfully. History does not reward those who are endlessly accommodating. It punishes them. You are living proof of this principle, even if you haven't admitted it yet. Every yes you offer is a debt, not in money, but in respect. Every time you answer immediately, you teach others to expect immediacy. You condition them to forget your value. And when your time, your attention, or your energy are demanded without restraint, you are already weak. Your availability becomes a leash, and others pull without consequence. Consider the dynamics of human desire. People are not drawn to what is easy. They crave what is scarce. The law is simply scarcity creates power, and by being constantly present, you destroy the very tension that makes your existence magnetic. You are not less valuable because you exist. You are less valuable because you let yourself be consumed. But there is a deeper, more dangerous truth we haven't touched yet. Look around you. Notice who commands the room, who speaks and is listened to, who leaves others waiting with a single glance. Their secret is not charm, it is absence. They are judicious with their presence. They are deliberate. They allow anticipation to swell, because anticipation is an amplifier of authority. When you are always there, anticipation dies. You are ordinary, predictable, ignorable. Machiavelli did not advise princes to be cruel for cruelty's sake. He advised them to be strategic, to use absence as a weapon, to let desire, respect, and even fear work in their favor. When a ruler is too available, he invites disrespect. The people, sensing weakness, test boundaries. They push, they manipulate, they take. You may think this is a betrayal of morality. It is not. It is reality. Morality is irrelevant if your influence evaporates. The cost of availability is subtle at first. Friends begin to take liberties. Colleagues interrupt without thought. Strangers demand without regard. You tolerate. You respond. You apologize. Every concession whispers the same message: your presence is not precious. Your attention is not rare. And eventually, you become invisible to those whose opinion matters most. But there is a deeper, more dangerous truth we haven't touched yet. Consider the Stoics. Seneca wrote of the wise man who treasures solitude, who values time above wealth, who refuses to allow others to dictate his rhythm. There is no arrogance in this. There is strategy. By setting boundaries, by creating distance, you craft a personal gravity that draws people in. Too much availability, on the other hand, collapses your orbit. You drift into mediocrity, orbiting the demands of others rather than the trajectory you should command. Notice how we hide behind convenience. Technology has made us slaves to accessibility. Every ping, every notification, every urgent request corrodes the fortress of our autonomy. You feel compelled to answer, to perform, to please. But in truth, every immediate response chips away at your invisible armor. Power is quiet. Power is selective. Power is patient. History is filled with men and women who mastered absence. Caesar, who disappeared from Rome at the perfect moments, letting anxiety and desire ferment among the senators. Cleopatra, who entered the room not when summoned, but when she commanded curiosity and anticipation. Even in modern life, consider the executives, the thinkers, the creators who delay replies, who limit exposure, who turn inaccessibility into an unspoken assertion of authority. But there is a deeper, more dangerous truth we haven't touched yet. Your psychology is working against you. Human brains are wired for reward. Immediate gratification triggers pleasure circuits. Every time you answer instantly, every time you offer yourself too freely, you reinforce these circuits in others. They come to expect it. Your availability becomes a habit for them and a trap for you. Suddenly, your life is no longer yours. It is a theater where you perform on demand, and the audience decides the script. Machiavelli would tell you that a ruler who appears to be constantly yielding is soon ignored. Influence is measured by control, not intention. You may intend kindness, responsiveness, loyalty, but results are judged externally. How others respond to you defines your social power, and the moment you are too available, you concede your leverage. Think of the metaphor of water. Water flows, it nourishes, but if it spreads too thin, it vanishes. The same is true of your attention. When it touches everything, it touches nothing. When it is available for everyone, it is valued by none. Yet you continue to pour yourself out, thinking generosity is always virtue. Generosity without boundaries is a mask for weakness. But there is a deeper, more dangerous truth we haven't touched yet. Relationships, whether personal or professional, operate on the principle of tension. Desire, respect, loyalty, they are not granted freely. They are earned, and they are maintained by scarcity. When you are constantly accessible, tension collapses. You become predictable. Your value is measured in availability, not in essence. People stop striving to impress you because you have lowered the stakes. Power, like fire, needs fuel, and you are giving it all away for free. Consider Machiavelli's warning to the young prince: never appear too accommodating. Never let your guard down so completely that others presume your compliance. Be firm in your boundaries. Be deliberate in your interactions. Absence is not rejection. It is preparation. It is strategy. When you allow yourself to vanish, when you resist the urge to answer every demand, you create mystery. And mystery, in turn, generates authority. Modern life tempts you to forget this ancient truth. Social media messaging apps, emails, they are tools of incessant availability. Every like, every reply, every comment becomes a tether, pulling you toward everyone else's agenda. You become a performer on an endless stage, and the cost is profound: the erosion of self, respect, the dilution of authority, the slow disappearance of desire from others. But there is a deeper, more dangerous truth we haven't touched yet. Notice the subtle dynamics in your closest circles. Friends who constantly text, colleagues who demand attention, family members who guilt you into immediate response. They are not malicious, They are opportunistic. They respond to the availability you project. By being too present, you have made yourself a resource rather than an individual. Scarcity commands effort. Effort commands respect. Without it, you become a utility. You are replaceable. You are ordinary. Your reputation, the invisible currency of social influence, is at stake. Invisibility in the minds of others is slow poison. People do not conspire to destroy you, they simply ignore you. You may have brilliance, insight, talent, but if you are too available, you will be drowned in the noise of your own accessibility. Your gifts will be taken for granted, your time will be stolen, and your presence will be discounted. Machiavelli wrote that the wise ruler appears unpredictable. He is scarce at key moments, deliberate in his choices, and reserved in his attention. He understands that being too present is a weakness. It exposes him to manipulation, erodes respect, and allows others to dictate the terms of interaction. Apply this principle to your life. Every immediate response, every casual acquiescence is a surrender of power. But there is a deeper, more dangerous truth we haven't touched yet. There is a paradox here. You may fear that by withdrawing, by limiting access, you will be abandoned. You will be misunderstood. You will lose connections. And yet, the opposite is true. Absence amplifies presence. Distance sharpens desire. Boundaries command attention. When you are scarce, you are noticed. When you are limited, you are sought. Availability is a liability. Scarcity is leverage. And leverage is freedom. Consider the modern example of thought leaders, creators, and high performers. They answer selectively. They maintain boundaries. They do not operate on demand. The effect is magnetic. People chase them, ideas are valued more, and respect flows naturally. They are not cruel. They are strategic. They understand that control over their time and energy is control over influence itself. Your mistake is simple. You confuse immediacy with importance, presence with value. You believe that being constantly reachable proves commitment, kindness, or loyalty. In reality, it proves dependency. Dependency on others' agendas. Dependency on others' approval. And when you are dependent, you are powerless. But there is a deeper, more dangerous truth we haven't touched yet. Absence is not mere avoidance. It is deliberate cultivation of authority. It is the art of being wanted without being desperate. It is the discipline to resist the pull of immediacy, the courage to say no when it is convenient to say yes. Machiavelli, the master of cold strategy, knew that the appearance of scarcity shapes perception. People will respect what is not easily obtained. They will desire what they cannot demand. This is not a lesson in selfishness. It is a lesson in preservation. Your time, attention, and energy are finite. To scatter them without restraint is to invite erosion of influence. The cost of being too available is invisible at first, but catastrophic over time. You become predictable. You become ordinary. You become forgotten. Every interaction you refuse to make immediately, every boundary you enforce, every moment of strategic absence is an assertion of value. You are signaling that your presence is not a given, that it is earned, that it matters, and in this simple shift lies the foundation of power. But there is a deeper, more dangerous truth we haven't touched yet. Consider the life of anyone who achieved greatness. They were not slaves to requests. They were not constantly available. They were selective, deliberate, patient. Their absence created anticipation. Their attention carried weight. Their respect was not given freely, it was earned, preserved, and wielded. And you can adopt the same principle in your life. Starting today, start small. Delay responses. Set limits. Guard your time. Notice the subtle change in how others interact with you. Respect grows. Influence rises. Desire intensifies. Scarcity is a tool, not cruelty, and once you wield it, you realize how much power you are surrendering by being endlessly available. The cost of being too available is invisible, yet devastating. It erodes authority, dilutes respect, and transforms you from a person of influence into a resource of convenience. And yet, we continue, unconsciously, making ourselves too reachable, too easy, too present. But there is a deeper, more dangerous truth we haven't touched yet. You are not meant to be at everyone's disposal. You are meant to command your own existence, to assert boundaries, to allow absence to create anticipation, to use scarcity as leverage, to let desire and respect flourish in the spaces you choose to occupy. Power is not granted to the omnipresent. It is claimed by the strategic, the patient, the deliberate. And this is the ultimate lesson of Machiavelli for modern life. Availability is not virtue. Availability is surrender. Presence must be precious. Attention must be controlled. Influence must be deliberate. So the next time you feel the urge to respond immediately, to make yourself available, to lower your defenses, remember this: every instant you give away is a drop of your authority. Every concession teaches dependence. Every moment of indiscriminate presence diminishes desire. Scarcity is power. Absence is authority. And patience is mastery. You believe being available is a virtue. You think saying yes to everyone, answering every message, attending every call, proves your worth. You are wrong. Every time you make yourself too accessible, you strip away your power. You hand it over freely, as if abundance is infinite. But in the social game of influence, availability is a currency. And you, my friend, are bankrupting yourself.